folks, it's Sonia coming to you from the road, which is where I do most of my videos, it seems. Sorry, I'm looking a hot mess. I wanted to talk about a very important topic, something that's come up quite a bit recently, and that is taking your puppy on a walk. My first question is, why do we want to take a puppy on a walk? And the answer is, in short, we actually don't. And here's why. I recently spoke to a client who had a situation come up. She had taken her about 16 and a half week old puppy, fix that hair right there, taken her 16 and a half week old puppy on a walk in the neighborhood. They'd gone maybe a block and a half, and one of those roving band of Chihuahuas, actually it wasn't a roving band, it was a singular ill-behaved Chihuahua whose owner had it on one of those flexi leads. This is another reason why I am so opposed to flexi leads. You have no control over your dog, and if you have an ill-behaved dog, you have no control over an ill-behaved dog. Now, I trust that my clients aren't going to have ill-behaved dogs with the foundation I've given the puppy as well as the owner, but let me finish my story. So this rogue Chihuahua on a flexi lead proceeds to attack her 16 and a half week old puppy and wrapped herself around my client's legs and the puppy, who was on a short 6-foot leash, as it should be. A horrible incident, as you can imagine. And now the two neighbors aren't speaking over this rogue Chihuahua that, and no offense to Chihuahuas, they're just mistrained. They're not, they're carried around like little brats, and they become little brats because they think this is how dog life is. You carry me and I'm alpha. Anyway, I digress. So the client called me and I said, why were you taking your puppy on a walk? And she said, well, I said, no indictment. I just want to, I'm going to do a video because I'm hearing this a lot recently. It's summertime, everybody wants to be outside. Let's take our new puppy on a walk. No. And so some of the things that she mentioned that I'd like to discuss are, I need to exercise my puppy. Yes, your puppy does need exercise. It does not need forced exercise, and that is what a walk is. Your puppy doesn't need forced exercise at this juncture. Up to about 6 months of age, your puppy needs self-directed exercise. So that means playing with a ball in the backyard, getting its zoomies out in the backyard, or be that as it may, in your dining room. Playing fetch, playing hide and seek games, playing scent games, things that you can do with the dog that aren't forced. And by force, I don't mean you're exerting physical force on them, but it is something when you take a dog for a walk, they can't, or they can maybe. I have seen a few dogs just drop where they were and not want to take another walk. And we certainly don't want to do that to a puppy, but a puppy is going to go where you go, and so happily they'll go where you're going. And so they don't need that kind of exercise. If you look in the training course that we have, if you are a client of ours, you'll see the exercise training guidelines. Please follow those. Those are very, very important for puppies' neurodevelopmental growth, their joints and hips, their growth plates, and honestly, it's also important for their emotional health, so that they're not encountering things outside in the front yard or in your neighborhood that are going to cause trauma. This puppy is absolutely traumatized. Every time they go to take it out the front door now, it's in freak out mode because it thinks this roving rogue Chihuahua is out there, and it probably is. So I've put a plan in place with them to A, stop the walks, and B, do more passive exercise. Passive exercise is, like I suggested, playing fetch, playing the recall game, letting the puppy play in your backyard, those kind of things. Maybe even playing with another safe dog, a dog whose canine behavior foundation and rearing is sane and stable. Because there's a lot of dogs out there who were sold to people at 6, 7, 8 weeks of age. They didn't use puppy culture. They didn't use Avidog. They have no stable foundational rearing where they had desensitization and proper sensitization to things, where their habituation wasn't stable. Habituation means an introduction to things in small incremental doses so that the puppy never even notices. For instance, when we are introducing the puppy to a vacuum, of course they've heard the vacuum from the time they were born, and then they see the vacuum, and then they can explore the vacuum when it's on, when it's off, until the vacuum becomes just another piece of furniture in the house. So, puppy does not need a walk for exercise. Puppy does not need a walk for socialization. Socialization does not happen in that kind of vacuum where you're walking your dog and introducing it to every Tom, Dick, and Harry dog in the neighborhood. Socialization properly happens when the dog can manage through its own sense of timing and self, its own introduction to those things. Oh, look at that big scary poodle over there. I'm just going to watch it for a minute. And so the puppy watches the poodle for a minute and determines on that particular introduction that everything's fine. The second introduction, maybe the dog goes up and maybe your puppy goes up and smells the poodle, and the poodle just kind of like, yo, hey, I see you, you're a great puppy, carry on. The third introduction could be that the poodle approaches the puppy first. So something along those lines. The other thing that I'd like to address with walks is that she felt like she needed to wear her puppy out. So that's counterproductive and counterintuitive. Your puppy doesn't need to be worn out. Your puppy needs proper mental stimulation, and it needs physical activity in small increments that it self-directs until it's about 5 to 6 months of age. And then you can incrementally introduce other forms of exercise according to the puppy culture and Avidog exercise standards that I outline in the training course, if you have that. If you don't, you can check out, or if you're not a client, you can check out what Avidog and puppy culture have in terms of their exercise protocols. I'm not recreating or reinventing the wheel on that, so I'll direct you to those things. Puppies that are worn out, quote unquote, oftentimes present with hyperactivity and inability to settle. They feel like they always have to be entertained. They don't sleep well at night because they're overstimulated. And of course, the hyperactivity leads the client or the owner to think, oh, the dog needs more exercise. And so you get on this gerbil wheel, this hamster wheel, where you're just creating the issue. The hyperactivity is 9 times out of 10 created. So mental stimulation games that you can play are hide and seek, scent games. If you have not gotten your Lagoto or yourself into some kind of scent training, I'll put in a plug for the Truffle Dog Company, who has an online course. I think it's $80. Your local kennel club, your local training facility will all have scent game classes or scent work classes. It is the most incredible thing to do. Food puzzles. Don't use too many treats, though. That you can freeze blueberries or kibble, small amounts of kibble in some of these puzzle toys. The food puzzles are great. Teaching your puppy a recall, that is a great fun game. I think I mentioned fetch. You can use a soft frisbee, a tennis ball, their favorite toy, in the house or in the backyard. You can find a couple of safe spots to walk your dog, but I would maybe drive your dog, your new puppy, to that safe place rather than having something negative happen in the neighborhood. The other thing that's important to note is when a puppy first goes home, regardless of the age, be it 12 or 13 weeks, 16, 20, or 24 weeks, or you're adopting an older Lagotto, you have to understand the dog has to bond with you first. And that's an easy thing to do unless there's trauma, unless there's some kind of thing that happens where the puppy has to take a few steps back and work through that. So the ways puppy is going to bond with you is by having lots of passive, positive interactions with you on the other side of the leash, being a confident, assertive, calm pack leader. We're not fawning over the puppy. We're not overly affection, not giving too much affection. That is positively reinforcing whatever it is the dog is encountering at that moment. So the dog attaches that affection to that moment. So for instance, if there's fireworks coming, 4th of July is coming up, there's fireworks happening, and you hear the fireworks and you look at your dog and you become anxious, thinking you've got pre-activity anxiety that is traveling right down the leash. You end up thinking anxious thoughts. Oh, are they going to be frightened? And then you're fawning and petting the puppy. Oh, they're their puppy. So then the puppy establishes that, gee, if I'm anxious when fireworks are going off, or thunder, or loud cars, or anything to that effect, I get petted, and so I'm going to act anxious during those times, and we begin the cycle there. So we're not going to anthropomorphize and create the problem for our dogs. We simply want to be calm, assertive pack leaders. And so being a calm, assertive pack leader while you're running about your business, and for a puppy that is 12 to 24 weeks of age, give or take a month or so after your puppy has gone home, you're establishing that you're the trusted owner, that you're the trusted pack leader. And if you have those moments where you're startled by the thunder or the gunfire or fireworks that seem to happen around the 4th of July, and they're looking to you as their trusted source, and they see you calm, they're going to be calm. If you have a startle moment and you recover quickly, they're going to be able to recover quickly. So we're establishing that first. You cannot expect your puppy to have moments of socialization and desensitization until that bond of trust is established. They are looking to you for everything, but they don't know to trust you yet. So there's just too much happening when you first bring a puppy home. What you should first be working on when your puppy comes home is that bond. That bond is going to be established by the schedule, having a routine, having the same thing happen every day the way it's supposed to, and not having traumatizing events happen as we it's unexpected. But if we're putting ourselves in the line of fire by walking puppies through the neighborhood, we might need to rethink that, because there's just too many things that could happen. Plus, the young puppy, they don't know leave it, they don't know drop it, maybe they're not even established yet with leash training, Or if they are established with leash training, they don't know you're the leash trainer, so they're going to try and get away with things. There's just too many things that can go wrong on a walk. So I am a big proponent of let your puppy explore your house, incrementally, of course. Don't give them free reign of the house. Let them explore your back fenced yard. If you don't have a backyard that's fenced, find a safe place that is fenced, or get a long lead, a 20-foot lead that puppy can drag and explore in safe environments where they're not going to have to know what to do with a big German Shepherd or a small Chihuahua. They can just explore and gain confidence with you incrementally as they're building that trust. The other thing that she mentioned was she needs to take her puppy potty. Well, pottying and walking are two different things. We're not, it's idealized. Taking your dog for a walk is much too idealized. I'm not saying don't take your dog for a walk. I'm saying wait until that trust is built. Wait until you have a level ground on which to stand with obedience. If your dog's leash breaks and you don't have a recall, what in the world are you going to do? If your dog doesn't have a drop it or a leave it and they eat something poisonous, what are you going to do? If they are still establishing that you are the one to be trusted on and relied upon for their secure state of being, and they encounter the big bad wolf, i.e. the roving band of Chihuahuas on flexi leads, what are you going to do? Now you've got to reestablish that you're trustworthy and overcome that trauma and teach them that the front door is still okay to go out and they're not going to get eaten by a roving band of Chihuahuas on flexi leads. So, to kind of circle back, pottying and walking are two different things. So if you want to take your dog on a walk after you've established through obedience training and a period of time that your puppy's been in the home having the same established routine and they are learning to trust you, by all means, go for a walk. And ultimately, even I've got some clients who take their dogs on bicycle rides and jogs or a run. So by all means, we just have to do this incrementally. It is idealistic to think that we can bring a puppy home and in the first couple of days we're out in the neighborhood walking the dog. We just don't want to do that. It's not good for puppy or you. You're going to be stressed. Puppies are going to be all over under your feet and not knowing which side to walk on. By the way, we train all of our dogs here, unless you tell us otherwise, to walk on the left side. All obedience commands are given from the left side. All walks here are taken on the left side. There are certain circumstances where you need a right-sided walk or sit-stay, and if you know that you're one of those people that needs that, let us know, and we will work on that for you and your puppy. But back to pottying. So if you want to take your dog on a on a walk, you're going to take your dog out to potty. And then you're going to bring your dog back in the house, put him in the crate for a couple minutes. And yes, your dog, even as an adult, needs to go in the crate. Your dog needs to sleep, take its daytime naps. With you putting them in the crate, they don't get to decide when their nap is. You do, because you're the good parent. And taking their meals in the crate, ideally for life. That is what's best for puppy. But I digress, because that's a whole nother video. So you'll take your puppy or your adult dog out to potty. Go potty in the crate. 3 to 5 minutes in the crate while you get your tennis shoes on and you grab the leash and whatever else you need, your bottle of water, whatever. And then you're going to take your dog out and go for a walk. And when you get back, you're going to put your dog in the crate. And this is especially true for puppies and especially helpful for puppies when you get back from that walk, because that's an activity. You're going to put your puppy in the crate. 3 to 5 minutes, take them out to potty. that's the complete cycle. Anytime your puppy finishes an activity such as a walk, a training session, anytime they finish playing with a toy, working on any kind of training session, they finish individual play in your house, they wake up from a nap or nighttime sleep, or they've eaten or drank a lot of water, the flow chart that I have in the training course that our clients get shows that puppy needs to go potty, and your adult dog too, until those patterns are well established. So that's separating out your potty time from your walk. And again, potty time is separate from a walk. And walks can be super frustrating with a new puppy, so just avoid those until you have good leash control. Good leash control is going to happen in the house and in your backyard, not on a walk. You cannot teach a puppy. It's kind of like taking your child to church and expecting them to sit quietly. Unless you have practiced that at home, they're not going to do it. And it's no fault of theirs, they don't know how. Same with leave it and drop it and recall. Unless they've been taught during non-conflict time, during non-activity time, they're not going to know how to do it. So hopefully I've kind of overcome some of the notions of why people think they should take their puppy on a walk. So exercising and wearing the puppy out and being their entertaining the puppy. Hopefully I've overcome those thought processes. What was the other one? Socializing your puppy. That is obviously not, we want to set the puppy up for the most positive outcomes. And with too many unknowns, such as loose dogs, neighbors who let their roving chihuahua walk around the neighborhood with a flexi lead, people who don't really understand canine behavior and think that their dog must meet your dog. No, they don't. You don't need to meet every dog. You just don't. And your dog doesn't have to like every dog either. I don't like every human. I don't. I'm polite, but I have good common sense. A dog that doesn't have good common canine sense isn't going to know that your dog is a new puppy who is learning all the trust foundations and exploring its world. So let's not expose puppy to the big, big world until we have the local world, which is their home, their backyard, their front yard, and especially you, mapped out. I hope this is helpful. For my clients, I'm going to say no go on the walks until you've got a well-established obedience class record under your belt, and you've got a good recall and a good drop it, leave it, and your puppy trusts you. So, peace out.